You good?
Yeah.
What happened?
No, nothing. Florida officers laughing after shooting protesters with rubber bullets. Whoops. Ooh, they shot him too. It popped right on his butt, dude. Ouch.
Yeah, I'm on standby. You see me yeah. I just got the one the one grabbing the gas. I'm like, oh no, but look disaster.
Okay. The reason I clicked on this was because there's California police that released body cam footage.
I'm joined now by former federal prosecutors John Flannery and Joyce Vance on this big Supreme Court.
That's taxes, SCOTUS, Trump. That's Trump related. I don't really want to watch that right now. Unless it's about the stimulus. Then I'm all in for it. But the video, okay, officers' body cam footage was released Wednesday from the fatal shooting of a San Francisco man who police in Vallejo, California say was partially kneeling when he was killed last month. But the videos do not show the moments leading up to the shooting. The footage was made public after the family of Sean Monterosa, 22, was permitted to view the recordings. Vallejo police said 3 officers in a pickup truck activated their cameras, but none of the footage shows Monterosa prior to an officer in the backseat firing his weapon through the front of the windshield. The vehicle did not have a camera.
John Flannery, your view of the decision specifically?
I'm not trying to watch that, dude. They're able to turn them off and on when they feel like, huh? It was quite surprising and shocking to us that there are no video of the actual shooting itself. John Pearson, attorney of Monterosa. Well, was the guy armed? The footage does not include the shooting, but does not offer a view of Monterosa until he had been hit. Vallejo police said the officers responding to a report of looting after midnight June 2nd when they encountered Monterosa in the Walgreens parking lot. Police Chief Shawnee Williams said in a recorded message packed with the body cam footage. There was a previous incident at the scene in which a police car was rammed, and officers described seeing multiple potential looters get into cars and flee. Williams said when the officers arrived, Williams said Monterosa began running toward a car, then stopped and crouched in a half-kneeling position facing them. One of the officers told investigators he believed Monterosa had a gun in his sweatshirt pocket. Did he see the gun? He believed he had a gun, but did he see the gun? One of the officers told investigators he believed Monterosa had a gun in his sweatshirt pocket and was kneeling as if in preparation to shoot, moving his hand toward his pocket at their approaching vehicle. The officer fired his weapon 5 times through the windshield, striking Monterosa. That's murder, bro. These guys need to walk around with shotgun, rubber bullets, tear gas, and non-lethal weapons, not guns that kill. That mistake is going to be made today, tomorrow, the day after, and the day after that, until somebody decides that it is time for these guys to use less than lethal force with body armor. These guys have bulletproof vests on. They need to have something on their helmets that avoid them actually getting fatally shot, even from point blank range, like they do in other countries that technically has less crime rate and fatal shootings. I mean, a shotgun with rubber bullets is, plus the cover from behind a vehicle and proper backup. On top of that, if it was up to me, I would make police officers roll together in a vehicle of 4 and none less. Whenever they arrest a guy, they call somebody to come pick him up instead of transporting them themselves. That way they can always have 4 of them together at one time and not have to fear dying when they're out there all by themselves. That's gonna keep on happening. Today, tomorrow, the day after, as long as guns are available to the public, as long as police officers carry guns, and as long as police fear for their lives. I mean, it's kind of like it's a me or you type thing. I'm not gonna die, so, and that's what does it. A lot of the times, it's not meant to be focused on one particular type of people or individuals or stuff like that. And Lord knows I am totally toward Black Lives Matter, but that's gonna always be the situation, because it's always gonna be the cop versus what he believes he sees or doesn't see. Only one right way to fix that. Either you take away guns from the public, or you take them away from the police officers. Then give them the resources to be able to do their job without, make their jobs easier in a group of 4 all the time, or the other way around. You take them away from people, then nobody would ever get shot. But then if our country ever gets invaded, then what? Like this, having this right, if our country ever got invaded, bro. You saw how they started marching out there in Georgia, bro. Like, they were packing, yo. Like, if I lived anywhere and my country was trying to get invaded, I'd want to live in Georgia, man. Them motherfuckers walking around with assault rifles, Tech 9s, motherfuckers, AK-47s, and all kinds of other stuff. Ready to protect. That's just always going to be a thing, man. It's always going to be a situation, bro, as long as it's one versus the other. It's going to happen today. It's unfortunately, very unfortunately, it's going to happen today. It's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen the day after that. We can't fix it per situation, although it should be fixed per situation with lawsuits and wrongful death suits and all that good stuff. But we can make it better. The only way to fix it is the way nobody wants it to get fixed. You'll have to take the rights away from either one or the other. That's when all that's going to get fixed. Until then, we'll always have Black Lives Matter, and we'll always have people complaining, and we'll always have all these incidents where a police officer decides to choose his life over somebody else's, or even the power behind it, where you feel like you have the power to be able to assert your power. I mean, unfortunately, the way it happened this last time was with the knee to the back of somebody's neck for 8 minutes, which is crazy. But that power is gonna be there. Only way to fix that is to take away the power. Nobody wants that if you're on one side, and nobody wants the other if you're on the other. It's crazy. Human nature, bro. And it's always just gonna be conflict. To each his own. And sometimes it's not people that's the problem, it's the system. But nobody can fix the system, because there's 2, 3, 4 sides to everything. When that's the case, it's just always gonna happen. That's the fucked up part about it. But there's a way to fix it, like I said. You got to take guns away from one side or the other. The day that happens is the day no man, well, there's still going to be situations. It doesn't take a gun to actually do that to somebody. But the day that happens, it's bittersweet though. People won't fear cops. So it just has to keep on happening. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up. What the great thing about Black Lives Matter though is that there's gonna be so much. There's gonna be this upward swell in the helping of black people that they're gonna benefit so much from it. They're gonna benefit from it in politics. They're gonna benefit from it in the workplace. People aren't gonna stress people out as much as they do because of the movement that has been set forth, and that's going to help a lot of lives, which is great. That helps. But looking at it from a higher standard, it's unfortunate because you realize that there's no way to fix it unless you do the most drastic thing, and nobody on either side is ready to swallow those kind of drastic measures. Either take away guns from people or take away guns from the people enforcing laws, police. You do one or the other, you're going to also have to face the consequences. Can we live in a society where cops don't walk around with guns? Plus, you gotta also wonder why cops aren't. There's thousands and thousands of cops, but generally speaking, cops are like cowboys. They're kind of gung ho. They're in this country, we're bred like that. The police officers that go chasing people and stuff like that have to be a certain type of individual. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to be that kind of individual and still have a very decent heart. There's things that happen throughout the lifetime of a police officer's career that kind of starts hacking away at those chips off the shoulder, the block, or whatever they call it, chip off the old block. It kind of molds a police officer into being that type of individual. And I'm assuming that a higher percentage of these people that started on the force, when they started, were actually great, decent individuals. But after having to deal with or put up with certain types of individuals and people on a daily basis, something happens to a lot of them after years and years of service. It's kind of like war. You know, people that come back from war, they come back a little different. So it's crazy to think. Yeah, you want to be on everybody's side, but it's hard to find a middle ground. Even the people that did find a middle ground when all this happened started the All Lives Matter. Look how much hate they got. Because right now we're not worried about that. It's all about Black Lives Matter. And yeah, it is. At the moment, it really is. But you shouldn't hate on somebody because they're considering every other life. That's kind of counterintuitive and also racist. Because if you ain't appreciating all lives, even though the ones that are hurting the most right now might be the black community, then it can get twisted into something different, like racism. Still, there's so much hate out there that even somebody that realizes it in that moment, like I just did, will get hate for it. That's just crazy. But it makes sense. So the higher perspective to know all these little things about everything that's said and still Know that all lives black matter. Know that all black lives matter. Know that the police shouldn't do this. Know all these things all at once, and hope for the best. Like, man, I hate getting twisted up into a huge vine of deep perception, because it kind of bounces you around from here to there, and you kind of get lost in your own trying to be good and right for all the above. It's crazy. It feels, with somebody like me, you know, that I have this look or have this way of talking or have this laid back kind of feeling. I feel like it is so easy and so quick for somebody to turn around and look toward me with their own perception and be quick to hate. So, like, I gotta tread very carefully. It's a hard thing to do. It's no wonder politics, you know, people in politics, it's unfortunately, I'm not saying that that's the way it should be, but unfortunately, people in politics are probably the ones that keep their hush hush the most, because the minute you go one way with anything, it's like, oh, hell no. Alright, I wanted to end the stream earlier there. I don't know why I got back on. I saw this little video on YouTube and on Yahoo, and it got me going. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, because I think I'm done for the day. I got other stuff to do and other stuff to worry about. You guys have a good night. Everybody take care. Peace, love, and what are we in, July? We just had the 4th of July, so there's nothing really big or special coming much. Next holiday, Wednesday, January 1st. No. Fortunately, tomorrow's not a holiday. Who does that? What's the holiday after the 4th of July? No, I'm not looking for that. I'll just look up federal holidays for 2020. Okay. July 4th. Next one's Labor Day in September. 2 months away. Jeez, no fun. August sucks. Alright. Yeah, I'll end it there. I hope you guys like my new piercing. I might make a... Look at this thing. It's huge. See what happens when I point it up. Get a little closer, because I just got this thing in the mail. I might make a video out of it. But it's pretty wicked. I can touch my nose with it. Pick my nose with it. I love it though. I like the way it looks. Side view. Oops. Yanked the cord the wrong way. That's the side view. I kind of like it. I might do 3. Just like this. Put one on this side and one on this side. Like right here. Like that. One right here. And one over here. 1, 2, 3. I think that would look cool. As long as I center them right. It's kind of what I wanted to do, but it kind of trickled into this thing where I started buying them bigger and bigger as I went. And now I have a bunch that go here without the actual holes yet. So I just have like this little drawer full of librettes and cones and balls that I should have never bought. If I would have just known that this would have looked as good as it did, and I would have ended here, I would have wasted like the third of the money. Not that it was that expensive. It's not that expensive a hobby. I'm looking at like $3 or $4 every time I order one. This one I think was 6 though, or 7. Well, I think I want 2 more. I want to put these 2 right here. Have all 3 coming down. Like that. I might come back and work on this video. When I do, I'll set it up on live. But for now, look at, I got my correction on. Plumber's crack. But for now, I got some other stuff to take care of. I might come back to this in a bit. I'm gonna save this project for now so it doesn't get all stupid and wangy on me.